All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we decided to switch things up a little bit. So we're going to be doing our artificial intelligence course, and we're still inside our natural language module. I decided to do artificial intelligence just to see if there were going to be any more codes down the line that we get to run. I think there is more coming up, but we haven't gotten to it yet. So we're still moving forward to artificial intelligence this morning, and we're just going to be doing some light reading. So let's have a look at what we're going over today. And so this definitely was a useful tool that we can use to try and make some predictions, but we had to make some assumptions in order to get there. So what if we wanted to build some more sophisticated models? Use some tools from machine learning to try and take better advantage of language data to be able to draw more accurate conclusions and solve new types of tasks and new types of problems. Well, we've seen a couple of times now that when we want to take some data, take some input, put it in a way that the computer is going to make sense of, and it can be helpful to take that data and turn it into numbers ultimately. And so what we might try and do is come up with some word representation, some way to take a word and translate its meaning into numbers. Because, for example, if we wanted to use a neural network to be able to process language, give our language to a neural network and have it make some predictions and form some analysis there. So that's one of the reasons why we would do something like this. When we want to have our neural network perform some task for us, it'd be easier to actually convert those words into numbers for the neural network to handle. A neural network takes as input and produces as output a vector of values, a vector of numbers, like I just explained. And so what we might do is take our data, somehow take words, and somehow convert them into numerical representation. So how might we do this? We might take words and turn them into numbers. How might we take words and turn them into numbers? Let's take a look at an example. Here's a sentence. He wrote a book. Now, if you can see here, let's say we let's say we want to take each of those words and turn it into a vector of values. You can see here, this is our vector of values. This is our sentence. He wrote a book. As you can see, the number one appears in every position that a word would appear. So we have a one in the first column for the word he. We have a one in the second column for the word wrote. We have a one in the third column for the letter A, and then we have a one in the last or the fourth column for the word book. As you can see, is each represented by the location of the word in the sentence. He is first, wrote is second, A is third, book is fourth. Now we'll say that he is going to be a vector that has one in the first position and the rest of the values are zero. So after the position is full, every other value becomes zero, as you can see. Because he is first, we put a one in the first position, everything else is zero. So each of these words now has a distinct vector representation, and this is what we often call a one-shot representation. A one-shot representation is a representation of meaning of a word as a vector with a single one and with other values as zero. Now that's what we're gonna leave it at for now. I didn't want to do too much reading, but I did want to dive into it and see how far along we got before we ran into some more code. We haven't gotten there yet, so yeah, I will keep you posted every step of the way. But of course, it's the Python Poppy. You guys stay Gucci.